Assalamu-Alaikum boys and girls, we are live. कैसे हैं आप? मैं बिल्कुल ठीक ठाक. So today we are going to make a facial recognition attendance system with liveness check and Excel integration. So it's an attendance system. So of course we need to record our attendance in some Excel sheet, right? So in this facial recognition system, of course, it is detecting my face. So it's like it's using Deepface in order to recognize my face. The model I'm using right now is FaceNet 512. It's like the best model, but you know it's like more accurate, but it's, as you can see, it's like flickering, so it's like takes time to detect the face, but it's like most accurate. There are models like VGG or OpenFace which like detects like more consistently, but of course they have accuracy issues, so we have to find like a balance, like a model which has a balance for our particular application. Also there is a liveness check in it, so if I try to show my show my picture instead, it will like have a hard time detecting it, so it won't detect for my face. As you can see, like sometimes detecting it, but it's like politely declining it most of the time, right? So there is like somewhat liveness check, so that the people cannot, or the user cannot, mark false attendance by showing just the picture of that person. They will be like, it will like a more difficult to mark attendance like that. Also there is of course Excel integration. So let's say if it's detecting me right now and I press enter, it will it will record the date, time and name of the person who was present at the time, and if I press enter again, it will say already entered. So this program makes Excel sheet every day with the same date, so it's like 8/8/2023 today while I'm recording this video. The next day it will make like a new Excel sheet with of course 9/8/2023. So yeah, so we're gonna do that today. Most probably it's gonna be like a 3-part series I'm planning. It will be like, first will be the facial recognition, second will be for liveness check, and third in third video will like combine it to make this facial recognition system, right? So let's get to it. So what else is a good way of starting the project than making a virtual environment? So we'll make virtual environment for our project. So you should have Anaconda for that, right? So we can write conda create and new, and we can name our virtual environment deep face or attendance, because it is going to be a system. So face recog attendance, you can name it whatever you want, of course. With Python version 3.8, 3.8 should work. So it will ask for confirmation, so we're gonna press yes, and it is going to create our virtual environment. So when it's done, we can activate our virtual environment attendance. I think that was the spelling. Yes, so we are in our virtual environment now. It says face recognition attendance, and we are in our virtual environment. We can install Jupyter Notebook, so we can do conda install channel Anaconda, that is -c for channel Anaconda, and we can write Jupyter. So it is going to install Jupyter Notebook for us in order for us to work, right? So when our Jupyter Notebook is installed, we can go ahead and write pip install Deepface, and we can press enter. It's gonna install Deepface, so we're gonna wait for it. It's like super easy to do this, and we'll see that. Alright, it took its time, so it is somewhat installed, but there are some errors like matplotlib requires py parsing 2.3.1 equals to, and protobuf less than 4 greater than equal to 3.11. so we can do that. We can just pip install py parsing, right, and we can just give it 2.3.1, and protobuf we can give it 3.11, enter. So install itself just to get rid of all of it. Alright, now it says tensor board 2.1.3 requires protobuf 3. But you have protobuf. Alright, there are like incompatibility issues. So we can do pi parsing and protobuf. The protobuf thing is having incompatibility issue. We can ignore that. We are not using protobuf in Deepface anyways. So after doing that, just do pip install Deepface again, and you won't face errors. Hopefully, just protobuf errors. So we can check by doing Python, and if I do if from Deepface all low caps import Deepface, if it doesn't give any errors, then we are good to go. Yes, it doesn't give any errors, right? So you can use it. Okay, so now we finally have Deepface installed. We can ignore the protobuf errors. Just do pi parsing, and we finally have it installed because we did from Deepface import Deepface and we didn't get any errors, and that's what we need. Now we can open Jupyter Notebook by just writing Jupyter Notebook and start coding. So when we'll write Jupyter Notebook in our console and enter, it will open like the Jupyter Notebook in front of you. The folder structure is very important in this project. So I'm going to use this Deepface folder to do like all my programming, and like all the pictures will be saved in this database folder. Just make sure you have a database folder, and you should have like names of the people you want your project to recognize as folders, and in those folders you should have like pictures of respective people in those folders. Like this is like a Bill Gates folder, so there are like pictures of Bill Gates in this folder. Also make sure that the pictures are front facing or a little on side, so that the code can extract all the landmarks, like all the measurements of that face. So more clearer the pictures are, the more better. And even though ideally the project can extract landmarks from just one photo, but more the photos and clearer they are, the better. Ideally we just need one photo. So in Elon, I have Elon Musk's photos, right, front facing, preferably, or just side by side. I think this is a WebP photo, so I'm not really sure if it supports WebP. We'll see. If it doesn't, we'll delete this photo. And then I have my photos, right? So these are like front facing photos. I just found some decent photos. Originally like the photos I used were super weird, but alright, these were like the front facing photos I had. So I go for 3 photos per person, right? So we can open our Python. We can like make our Python file. We can rename it as face recognition, and we can enter. So it's like a face recognition Python file. So first you're gonna do, first thing first, from Deepface import Deepface with D capital, F capital, or uppercase as you say it. Okay, so now if we want to find out like the facial features, what we're going to do. So what I want is, I want this model to take pictures of frames from this camera and run the model on that frame and recognize the face from that frame, right? So first I have to make like a streaming code. So I'll do while 1, or first I have to define the OpenCV. I have to like import CV2. So I think I can import CV2, yes. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to initiate the streaming. So I'll say video capture 0. So with video capture 0, it will take the camera is 0. If you have multiple cameras, you can do video capture 0 or 1 or 2 or something like that. And then while 1 or while true, we can do both. I want it to keep on going. The state of the camera and the frame, that what cap dot read will return. So I'll say if state is not equals to true. If state is not true, then what we can do is, then what we can do is we can break out of this, a while loop. If not, then move on. What I want it to do, I want it to cv2.show. What I want it to show, I want it to show the, let's say I call that window attendance, and then I want it to show the frame, and then I want it to c is equals to cv2.wait key, and I wanted it to be 1. I guess that's what works for it. If c is equals to q, I'll use q. If I press q, I want it to break, right? And then when it'll break, what should happen? Cap dot release, it should release the camera, and cv2 dot destroy all windows, right? That's what I want. So this is like a very simple camera streaming code. So if I run it, I should get, alright, I won't get it because my camera is already being used here with this recording. So I should, first close this camera. Alright, so when I run it now, I go kernel and restart all. It will open my camera. Okay, it's not show, it's I am show, I think. So I'm gonna read it, and yeah, I can see myself. Hi. So this is like the simple camera streaming. Now what I want to do is I want my model to take this frame and perform facial recognition on this. So we are going to do it now. Now in order to check how our model works, we can test to check the outputs of the model. So what we need to do, we can just say model is equals to Deepface with D uppercase, F uppercase dot find. So we have like many options for it. So we don't need to find the age of the person or anything. We just need to find. Now what do we need to find? First, we are going to give our database, right? So we can just write db path, right? Now what is our database path? It is like the database, right? So we can just write database, right? Else what do we want? We want to enforce detection to be false, such that if it doesn't find any faces in the frame, so it won't throw any errors. So we have to put enforce detection false. If it's true, it's by default true. So while streaming it, if it doesn't find any faces, it will throw errors and interrupt our loop. So we want to make sure that we give enforce detection false, and then we give model name. Now for that, this GitHub repository is very important. I'll be like giving link to this repository. That's like a Deepface GitHub repository. So there are multiple models, face detection models for this. So these are like the models: VGG face, FaceNet, FaceNet 512, and so on. So this is the chart where it shows the accuracy. Of course, FaceNet 512, that has like the most accuracy, but it takes time to detect the face. So of course it won't be that consistent and smooth, but like VGG face or open face, these will have less accuracy, but they will be more consistent and smooth. So we have to find the balance between these. So I think for starters we can use VGG face, right? So I can use VGG face. So I can just use VGG face. I just want to make sure that's uppercase V, uppercase G and G and face and all that. So I can just write VGG face. You can like experiment with multiple face detection models which are available and which are listed to find out model which is like a best fit for you. Also, we need to give the file name. So I think I can give the file, or I can find image path. Yeah, so img path. That's why like source is very important. If you like look at the source. So image path. Alright, so I just downloaded a test photo and put it in this working repository. If I open it, it's like it's Elon Musk's photo. So let's see, because this is the photo I'll be testing it on, and in database I have this Elon Musk's photo. So let's do that. First, when I'll execute this model, the model is going to make an embeddings file for all of these images, and while detection, then like in hex time, it will use those embedding files to detect for the test images, right, or the images we are going to give. So I'm just going to write test.jpg, and let's see the format of the output given by our model. So I'm gonna press enter. I think I have VGG phase detection model installed. It is like making representations. For you, it might download VGG phase detection model first, so you have to wait for it a little. Right. So I think it is done. Yes. So now if I write model, you see that this is not the model. I should have named it results, because it just spits out results. So I call it model. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I should have set result. We don't need to initiate model here. So as you can see that in model we have like multiple outputs. So I can just do model 0, and you can see I have, this is like the format of output for this. So as you can see that the model gave identity as Elon. This is like it's saying that it matches with Elon, database Elon, with this picture. It's somewhat, it thinks like with the 0.39 of cosine, that it thinks that it's with Bill Gates and Bill Gates, but the first two results with most accuracy and less cosine error, cosine loss, is Elon. So all we need, mostly we just need like the first one, the first row. So first row is Elon, so it detected it successfully. These source x, source y, and width and height, these are like the coordinates we got. So source x is actually the top left x-axis, that's the top left y, and width and height. That means that if you want to make like if you want it to make like a rectangle around the face, what it should do is with the results we get, like let's say this is the rectangle, so we only get, this is source x and source y, the result gave us, and the width and height of the box. Now of course when we'll use OpenCV, we would want to create the circle using CV2. Now in order to make a circle using OpenCV, we need like the top left coordinate, which are x1 y1, or x minimum y minimums you can say, and x2 y2, which are x max and y max, right? So what we can do is we can use these given coordinates and add width and then add height to it to get these coordinates. So we can do that conversion to use these results for our to like create a circle on the frame. So what I did with this one image, I want to do it with all the images which our model will get, or Deepface will get from our camera. So if I want to extract the identity, I can just use model.0.identity. I think I will get all the identities, and in that identity I want to extract the first identity. Alright, and if I split it, so I will get like all the, like split it with this sign, like the, I think I have to split it with this sign, or I have to split it with this sign, I guess. So I will get that database Elon, and if I write 1, I'll get database Elon. From that I have to split it with this, and then I have to do this to finally get the name out of our model, right? So that's the thing. So I can save my name by doing all of that. Okay. So there can be like more smart way of finding it, but I'll be using this to find it. Now in order to find the sources, I can just do this, and I can write source x. What if I do this? I do this, and then I do this model 0 0. I think I cannot do that. So I have to do source x to find source x, and then I have to do 0 to find the source x, the first one, right? So I can do that, and I think the type is 0. So that, after like figuring out the format, like how we can extract all the coordinates and the name of it, name of the model, we can use it in our loop to further so that we can use Deepface to detect on each and every frame and then draw rectangles and show the name using Deepface. So let's do that. So we're gonna do results is equals to Deepface, and like after taking the frame, do Deepface, like the same thing we did here, Deepface dot find. And what is the image? I can just directly give frame, I guess, here, and then I have to do db path, which is database. So I can just do database, right? And then what do I need to do? I can then give enforce detection as false, and then not flash, false, and then I can give model name, and I'm using the same model name as before, VGG face for now. Of course you can experiment with different models, right? So we did that. So after getting the results in the frame, what do I need? I want to say if, like first I want to say name. Of course it is not going to find identity and name all of the time, so I can initiate. So I want to say that if result dot 0, same as this, that's how we get the name. So result 0 identity 0 dot split. Just we can just do identity 0 is greater than, if it's greater than 0, right? If it's greater than 0, anything like if it exists, or I can just say, yeah, if it's greater than 0, what do we need to do? Name will be equals to result 0 identity 0, and then we're gonna follow the same, split that name into that, and then get the first one, and then split that further with this, and then get the first index. That will be our name, because that's how we got like extracted name from this results, same as this. And then our top left coordinate, it is given with like top left, so I can write that we can use that as x minimum for our CV2, right? We can directly use top left coordinate in CV2. So top left, it's result dot 0 dot source x, and then 0, so 0 dot source x, then 0. And for y minimum, I can do the same thing but with source y, because that was named source y. And then I can say width will be equals to same stuff but with source w, that was the width given out by the model. And then we can use the same thing, height with source h, I should write h with this. So in CV2 we won't be needing width and height, right? We will need like the bottom left coordinate. So I can just add width in x minimum, I will like travel like this, and then I can add height in the y minimum, and I can travel like this, so I will get like bottom right by just adding width and height in it, right? So I can just do that. Alright, and these also should be integers, so I can just mark them integers. That is what's with CV2, it requires integer coordinates, not float coordinates. So let's just make sure that we don't give it float coordinates unintentionally. So we can do as x minimum plus width, and then for y max we can do integer x y minimum plus height. So now we have all the coordinates. Then what we need to do is we need to draw those coordinates. So CV2 dot rectangle, right? CV2 rectangle, where do we need to draw the rectangles? In the same frame. What are the coordinates of it? X minimum, y minimum, that these are like the top left coordinates, and then x max, y max, and then we can give color. These are for RGB, so I can just give red, so 255 or I can just blue RGB, right, GB, so I can give 0 comma 0 comma 255, or I can give like green. Green is 255 and 0. Then I have to define thickness. So let's just try this first, right? So I have to close my camera and then try this. What it's gonna do, it is going to get the frame. If it's get the frame, that means if the state is true. Is not true, it's gonna break. If it's true, it is going to move on. Detect the frame. Like the one frame we got from the camera, it is going to detect the frame and share it with all the pictures in database. And then if it gets any identity, like if the identity field exists, or if like the results exist at all, I can just do result if results are greater than 0. If like the results exists, what it's gonna do, it's gonna save the name, like the first row name, like the most confident one. It's gonna save the x minimum, y minimum, width and height, and we're gonna extract using width and height and x minimum, y minimum to find the bottom right coordinates too for OpenCV, because OpenCV don't need width and height. It needs x minimum, like top left and bottom right coordinates to make a rectangle on this frame. So it's gonna make rectangle on this frame, and then it's going to show this frame which will have rectangle drawn on it. Right, I'm gonna wait for it. If I press Q, it's gonna break, come out of it and release the camera and destroy our window. So let's see if it works. So yeah, let me run this. Okay, of course I'm not gonna run it. Let me close this camera because the camera is being used here. I should have like 2 cameras at this point. I can do is if length of the identity is greater than 0, because it is going in the loop even though it hasn't found any identity. So even though the results exists there, if it hasn't found any faces, the length of the model and the identity column will be 0. So we can do that. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, it works. So if it doesn't find any faces, so it won't go in this if section, so it won't have any problem. So now it finds faces. We can do that. Now I think it's time to how can I put it here? I can just move it here and then put my face here, so you can see me too, right? Using this, I can just do this here and then this, right? So now if I want to add name to, so what I can do is I can write cv2.putText, right? Okay, I'm gonna do it while it's running, I guess. So I can just press Q. I think I can open my camera from here. Oh yeah, so I can do cv2.putText. Right. Where do I want to put my text? I want to put it on the frame. What should be the coordinates of this text? So I think it should be x minimum, y minimum, right? It's like a bottom left coordinate. It's like on top of the box, right? X minimum, y minimum. And yeah, and then there are fonts and everything. I don't really remember it, so I can just write cv2.putText. There's like a W3 school, they are like the best. Just like go there and find like so we have original. We have to give the font, so we can go give this font. So I can just copy paste it. You can write it, but I don't remember like the whole syntax of it. We have to give the font, then we have to give the font scale, which I can give 1, then color, then thickness, and then the last line which gives the line. So I can give thick, I think it's font scale, color, then thickness. So 1 as font scale, color, for color I can give red, so 255 comma 0 comma 0, and then thickness, and then cv2.line AA. Right, so let's see how it works. So let me close this camera. I think I can close it. So if I run it now, okay, we're getting error. What's the error? Okay, it's a frame. Okay, I haven't given like the name it's on frame. And what is the name I want to print? The name I want to print is the name, right? Oh my god, how silly of me. So on the frame I want to print this string, right? This is the name. So it shouldn't give any errors. Yeah, so see, there's like a Zan written here. I think I need to increase the, it's pretty good. So it says Zan. So I can increase like the scale of it. So I can mark it 3, I guess, and then if I run it again, I should get like a bold text, which is like easier to see. Okay, it's like a scale, it's not the text, like a scale. So I can keep it 1, but I can increase this. Okay. Alright, so it says Zan. Alright, we can make like a we can make like another box, like a white box on top of it, and then make it will like we are going to do it in a second. So if I can find like an Elon Musk photo or Bill Gates photo in my phone using Google, it should be able to detect Elon too and then Bill Gates too, right? So if I have Elon Musk photo and I give this to it, see, it says it's Elon, right? That when we'll do the liveness check, it won't do this, right? It won't detect faces from pictures, like the pictures, like the paper pictures of my phone. It won't do that. If I find Bill Gates, it can give. And if I give Bill Gates, it should say, right, this is Bill Gates, right? So that's how we do facial detection, right? So let's just like do some finishing touches, and then we'll be good to end this tutorial. So what you can do is, as we saw that it was really hard to read the text, what we can do is we can draw another rectangle, cv2.rectangle. On the frame, we need to draw on the frame what should be the bottom left. If it be x minimum, y minimum, like top left, what should be like the top left coordinate of that rectangle? So it should be x minimum, or it should be y minimum plus, I think 25 height is enough. And then what should be like the bottom left coordinates? It should be x maximum and y minimum, right? And it should be white, so I can give color 255 comma 255 comma 255, all pixels of 1, right? And then we can give -1 so that it like fills the box. And if I run it all, there will be like a white box on top of our detection box. So see, there's like a detection box for some reason. Yeah, so I think I should like move this box up. So the top left was x minimum. Okay, y minus into 225, right? Let's see if it works now. It will be x maximum and y minimum, yeah, because I want to like move it out, right? So it's -25. Let's see if it works. See, so I have this. We can of course increase the thickness of the box by like making it 2 or 3 or something. But yeah, that's how you do facial detection using Deepface. So what you can do is you can like choose different models from this GitHub repository to find out which one like suits you best. Some are more accurate, some are less accurate. So far, according to this GitHub, FaceNet 512 is like the most accurate one, but of course it's like heavier and it takes more time to detect. So yeah, it does like less false detection, but VGG face is like pretty good, as we can see, right? So in next video we'll be doing a liveness check so that our model don't detect pictures from our phones. It should only detect pictures like which are directly from the camera. So there will be like a somewhat security around it. Of course it won't be like foolproof, but we'll get somewhat liveness check to make sure that the person is not just showing the photo for detection. It should just it should be like, it should check like if like the person is like the eyes are moving and everything. So we'll use another GitHub repository for that, which is like already more. We won't be training anything in these tutorial series. We'll be like mostly prompt engineering. If we will doing like prompt engineering, taking stuff and combining them for our purpose. So yeah. So good luck until next time. Bye.